So that's my list of things, and when I go through all that in my head, I come to the conclusion, as you said a minute ago, that she was at least aware this was going to happen, and I think probably involved.
Yeah, I think we all came to that same conclusion, especially after listening to this man's interview, and we're going to talk about it in today's video.
Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad, sipping from the cup at hey.
Now hold on everybody, let's do a quick sofa sidebar now. Keep in mind, ain't no cop, ain't no doctor, ain't no lawyer, ain't no therapist, ain't none of that fancy credentialed stuff, okay? Now keep in mind also, I'm just giving my opinions on very public information, so do your own research, come to your own opinions, and drop them off in the comment section. And while you're down there, if you do like what you see here at the Sofa Squad, drop a little like, drop a little comment, drop a little share. It helps the channel out immensely. Now let's get edition. Yo, I was talking to my cousin the other day on the phone about her daughter's new school routine, summer coming to an end, all that kind of stuff, right? And it got us on the topic of fall routines and getting back on some kind of a schedule. So I don't know about for y'all, but summer was super crazy busy in my way, but in a good way, okay? So with fall on the way, I'm hitting my reset button for my own routine. And that means adding some coziness to my nights, winding down, making sure I'm actually getting good sleep. So here's the thing. I've already been using Dream by Beam for a while. So when they reached out to me, I was like, hey, y'all mind if we like work together again? You want to try it out? I was like, please, been doing it, but sign me up. Okay, thank you. Now we're gonna call my little ritual, my little evening time thing, it's fall, y'all, okay? And the star of the It's Fall, Y'all show is Dream by Beam. Why do I love Dream? Let me count the ways. Y'all, for me, it feels like a cup of cozy in the evening times. The fall's coming. It doesn't even matter what time of year it is, but right now it's getting ready to be fall. But you know, I get on the sofa, I get my blankie, I get the dogs, and I have my little cup of cozy, and it's so relaxing, and the sleep is amazing. It has all these natural ingredients in it to support sleep, and I love that. Now, while the cozy vibe is great with Dream, obviously, that's one of the reasons why I love it, the biggest thing for me is no sleep hangover, okay? So not only do I have this nice little routine that we do, and it's all cozy and nice, there's no sleep hangover, there's no grogginess, there's no dragging myself to the coffee pot in the morning. Okay, it's good, restful sleep. That's the entire point of it. I love it. I'm here for it. It's why I've been using it. Also, calorie conscious, y'all, it's only like 15 calories, okay? There's no added sugar. We're talking gluten-free, we're talking dairy-free, we're talking vegan and keto-friendly, okay? It's sweetened with monk fruit. It comes in both melatonin and melatonin-free versions for whichever side of that fence you want to be on. Also, major bonus to Dream, I love this. From September 5th to the 30th, they're donating $100,000 to No Kid Hungry to help provide over 1 million meals to kids in need. So not only are you helping yourself get better sleep, you're helping a bigger cause too, and I love that about them. Now, as usual, we're getting hooked up here at the Sofa Squad. Dream has gone so far as to extend their Labor Day sale just for you. You can get up to 40% off by using my code SOFA at checkout, but it's for a limited time, so don't miss out on your chance to reset your routine, get better sleep, and support a greater cause. I've loved Beam over these last several years, and you're gonna love them too. So go on and get to clicking. Hello, Sofa Squad, and welcome back to the sofa. We got a sofa right here, and we got a Paul right here. I hope everybody's doing well. If you're new to the channel, my name is Paul, and if you're not new to the channel, my name is Paul. Okay. Now, today we're going to continue watching the Jeff Lacasse interview. We'll get into who that is here momentarily. I want to give a special thanks and a special shout out to True Crime Metrics, the YouTube channel. Their information's down below. They were gracious enough to let me use their interview footage of this to do my own video here. Now, if you are new to the Adelson case and you're like, who are all these people? What's this guy talking? What's going on up in here? Okay. Well, let's do the 60-second overview and get you on the same page as us. So 2014, the Florida State law professor Dan Markel was gunned down in his own driveway at his Tallahassee home. The prosecutors say that this was fueled by a very bitter divorce and a very nasty custody battle with his ex-wife, Wendy Adelson. So over the years, the investigators indeed uncover a murder-for-hire plot that tied members of Wendy's family to the crime. We're talking hired hitmen, we're talking her brother, and we're talking eventually even her mother, the matriarch who is on trial right now. Her brother, as well as these other people, are already sentenced and in prison. Now, against this backdrop, police interviews like the one that we're watching today with Wendy's ex-boyfriend, Jeff Lacasse, shed light on the family, on Wendy, and her mindset at the time, and this provides the perfect context for what's going on in the Adelson family. So if you watched the one before, we watched the first part of his interview. I picked out clips of reacted to them, and we used those as talking points to discuss Wendy, the Adelsons, and the trial. So let's go ahead and get into that first clip.
Okay. And I want to say it was right before, but I don't trust my memory on that, the date. And she's talking about Danny because that's all she ever talked about. Danny wasn't a human being, he was Satan.
He was what?
He was Satan.
Satan,
Yeah.
okay.
And what was real strange about this was that in January, February, March, they had a lot of court stuff, and I could see why she'd be so pissed off at Danny. Danny had calmed down. He liked his new girlfriend. The judge had read him the riot act in court when they went to court the one time and told the other attorney, you need to calm your client down and stop having your client write his own legal briefs. I'm sick of reading this crap. Danny was going to get his butt handed to him by the court, and Wendy was going to have to concede a couple things, but she was going to win, everybody thought. And he had calmed down. He really had.
Now, interesting to hear Jeff say this about, Dan having these issues come up. And we've heard this from people where Dan, he had his own stuff going on, right? I mean, understandably so. You can only imagine the rage you would be filled if you were married into the Adelson family and dealing with their drama. I'm not saying anybody's actions can obviously murder is the correct thing here, but, it is what it is. I can kind of see all sides of the fence there. Now, also of interest where he was like, everybody thought Wendy was going to win, she was going to walk away with this, that, the other. Now, what we'll ultimately learn is that Wendy's request to relocate to South Florida was denied. This was the huge nail in the coffin, if you will, in a literal sense for Dan, where once that was done, the only thing, according to Wendy and her family, that could get her down to South Florida where they wanted her was if something happened to Dan, and sadly, something was going to happen to Dan after that.
She says,
Charlie did actually look into having him killed last summer.
Well, there you go. We can hang that up on the little family tree around the holidays and see what everybody thinks about that one.
Why would she just break up with you if she's like, this ain't gonna work, So all of a sudden, she's telling me I should move in.
Move in with her?
Yeah, she's talking about moving in. And I wanted a family so bad. She knew that. She manipulated me with the kids constantly. She said the kids should start calling you daddy. I'm going to talk to my mom and dad, and I'm not Jewish. That was the whole thing. I'm going to get approved by the parents. I'm going to give you the passwords. I'm going to give to all my computer accounts. She started acting like this was going to be a permanent thing.
Now remember, at one point, Donna tells Wendy in correspondence that she's going to need to put on the acting job of her life to pull this off. So here we see playing broad daylight, Wendy's acting job. She's all of a sudden hamming it on. Now, my theory is, and I believe Jeff's as well, is that he was being groomed and set up at some point to take the fall for the murder. And this is the behavior he's describing here all of a sudden out of the blue. You know what? Instead of me calling you daddy, I'm going to get the kids to call you that daddy. And all this behavior. Okay, it's just like, where is this coming from? Now, in the beginning, when you're in it, you're probably not going to put it together, because how many of us are going to be thinking someone's planning the murder of their ex-spouse and going to blame it on me, right? Like, not very many of us.
So it just felt strange. These are just my impressions, but it's like, what is going on? I'll give you an example. I would just be kissing Wendy, and all of a sudden she's like, like a porn star. I've been with a lot of women. Women don't behave like it's just. And we've been together 9 months. I've never seen this before. It's like
brand new behavior.
Yeah, brand new behavior. I'm going. What's going on? All of a sudden she wants me to. It just didn't make any sense. It was just.
She was getting freaky. She was like, look, I'm going to have to get freaky with this one to pull this off, okay? She was probably asking for all sorts of tawdry stuff, okay? But, I mean, again, you hear him say like, huh? What? She's like making all these noises and doing all this crazy stuff. Like, what's up here? I mean, it kind of has stained my mental imagery, okay? Let's just move on.
So we had it out, and the reason that's important is she was very concerned about her social reputation. Are you going to tell anybody about this?
About what? Her having sex with Daniel?
And Miguel and Mahil and other men. Yeah, and I said, we stay together, I won't. If we don't. I won't slander you, but let's be adults here. This is Tallahassee. You know how many people I know wise and stuff. Let's be realistic here. I said, I'm not going to try to destroy your reputation, but you made these choices. By the way, I'm not...
Did she give a reason?
It's deeply important that she be perceived a certain way.
Again, the reason why, well, one of the many reasons why I believe this guy is because this track, right? This completely tracks with the family. Keep in mind the whole family, well, when I say the whole family, at least Donna is very concerned on how things are perceived, how things look. Wendy is the same way, but Wendy has all these situations and issues going on beneath the surface that make her do things she, maybe regrets or is not proud of. According to Jeff, he catches her multiple times cheating on him. And so, she's concerned, like, hey, are you going to go out there and be like, look, Wendy, she gets a little freaky in the sheets, okay? Now she gets a little crazy. And you heard him say, it's like, well, if we stay together, I'm not. I was like, he's just being honest here. But it's true. It's like, look, bro, this is a small town, okay? Like, if you crap on me, you're the one who made the decisions, right? I mean, I can see how this would happen in a smaller town, although I never thought Tallahassee was that small, but I've never been there. Anyway, let's keep going.
When I was talking to her about that, I was struck by how cold and callous and basically sociopathic she was. Here I am, I was crying, I was very upset, and I said, you're not a sociopath, you must feel bad about this on a certain level. And she goes, I don't know if I'm a sociopath, I don't feel bad about any of this.
That right there, when he said that, explains how she sits on the stand like, hello. Yes. I don't remember. If you've watched the trial, if you watch From Time on the Stand, I mean, this is the energy she gives, and it's very bizarre. It's creepy, to be quite honest, but this makes sense. She's, again, I mentioned it in the first video, I'll say it again in this one, somebody in the comment section said she's very curated. Wendy is very intentional. Wendy is very curated. Wendy spends a lot of time being Wendy and putting on Wendy.
And she was laughing and describing some of the experiences she'd had with other men, actually. She was making it clear they were very enjoyable and stuff like that.
Now, he's saying this in relation to her telling him this, like, oh, I've done this and I've done that. She seems like an evil human being. I mean, obviously we know the family has a streak of evil in them because of what they've done to Dan, but like, this is that next level of just, I want to cut you to your bone, to your core. I will pick out what means something to you and I will weaponize it and use it to manipulate you into something or to tear you down.
He's a very interesting guy, and you may have known guys like this. I know some in Tallahassee. He's friends with people on both sides of the tracks. He's got friends that are physicians and professors and all that. He's got guys he hangs out at his gym that don't have a high school diploma, and he's able to buddy up with them too. He's very good socially. Charlie is street smart. He comes off kind of like a con man. He's really good with women. He's one of those con man, womanizer types. Different girl every night. Very socially smooth. So he enjoys flowing from one side of society. He has a Ferrari. I mean, he could just hang out in the upper crust. He doesn't. He enjoys slumming with these other guys, so.
Now this explains Charlie so much. If you're new to the case, Charlie Adelson is the brother of Wendy, the son of Donna, and he is currently serving a term in prison for his part in killing Dan. Charlie likes to talk a lot. Charlie thinks he's street smart. I giggled when he said Charlie's street smart. I was like, oh my God, yeah, he's the one in prison, right? Charlie's very much like, look, we're at 99% here, folks, that we ain't getting caught. Yesterday we were at 10%. We're at 99% mic drop level that we ain't getting caught. Okay, but this all makes sense. Charlie likes to, and he brags about it. We hear him on the phone constantly telling his mom how these things work when the undercover cop was contacting them, and he knows this, and he brags about being able to maneuver in and out of different societies and this, that, and the other. Clearly we see where it got them. Also, my opinion is once he got really enmeshed with these people and was doing big boy crimes like this, like getting hitmen and stuff, he was in way over their head, and they very quickly were getting extorted and this and that. I mean, they were going to get eaten alive if they had not gotten caught and gone to prison.
Okay, I just turned to leave, and all hail this, but I want to say it again. She goes, hey, Jeff, are you still going to Tennessee on Friday? And I say, I'm thinking, why the hell does she care? Night.
Okay.
Yeah, I need that.
Okay.
So she asked 3 or 4 questions about under what circumstances would I go? Why am I thinking about not going? She seemed deeply interested in what I'm going to do on Friday. This was bizarre. I was like, well, whatever. Got home, got this email. What was so strange about this? We had just spent 14 days, 16 days away from each other, thinking about things. Then I get this. I told her, if you don't want to do this, send me a text and say I can't do this anymore.
Now, what he's talking about in reference is Wendy constantly asking him about travel plans and like where he's going to go, how he's going to do it, what interstate, this, that, and the other. Jeff took a trip during the murders and whatnot, and his tire went flat. And so he was able to get videotape and whatnot to say, hey, here I was at. He was basically, what I'm getting at is he was taken off the suspect list, okay? But it became very clear to him in hindsight, as well as personally my own personal opinion, that she wanted this information because she was going to try and cast blame onto him for this. Think about how easy that could be. Oh, well, this is my current boyfriend. He was, very this or that. He knew that Dan was creating problems, and so he went and did this. Like, there you go. It's a very similar story in what the family did, okay? It's the same type thing that she was saying, Wendy, of, well, I don't know if somebody heard me say something or this or that. Again, my opinion, she knew what she was doing. She knew how to manipulate.
On the Facebook?
Yeah,
Okay.
and it was suspicious to me after the fact that picture was changed 12 hours before Danny shot, and that's the picture that was distributed to the media. She's very concerned with her appearance and how she looks. So I know that maybe sounds crazy. Investigator Hale seemed to think it was, but I thought this is so strange. She changed her Facebook picture twice in 2 years, and the night before Danny shot, and she's going to be all over the media, she looks like a Victoria's Secret model,
It's these little nuggets like this that make me have no doubt that she did this. And again, he's talking about Wendy changing her profile picture out. And, again, you never change it out, but you happen to do it before a lot of publicity is going to come. There you go. It also would play into why on the stand she acts and looks the way that she does. Now, to be fair, I think in a situation like this where everybody knows, oh my goodness, we're going to be on TV, we're going to be this, they're putting their best foot forward. So I'll say that. And I also think that Wendy does a lot of fillers and things like that to help with no emotion in her face. Okay, like it's a logical thing. Oh, I got a little touch up done here, there. You can't see emotion in my face. If I was her, I would probably do the same thing for the very reason she's doing it, to avoid anyone detecting anything in my face. But also the third component is her being consumed and caring so much about appearances, what people think, like pretend she didn't do any of this stuff or is like not part of this. She might be that way anyways because she's so hung up on how do I look, how am I perceived.
And then here's just a list of strange things that she said after the crime. I talked to her 3 or 4 times. She said, I love Tallahassee. I wanted to remain in Tallahassee for the rest of my life.
These are phone conversations?
These are phone conversations. Danny has so many enemies, it will be impossible to figure out who did this. He's a pretty beloved man, and he was an abrasive guy, but that's a strange thing to say. I've never heard any sympathy from her one time about Danny. She still seems enraged, obsessed, and defiant about Danny. I told Officer Hill that her and Charlie went to dinner maybe 3 weeks after the crime. Charlie called it a celebration dinner via text.
Now, also at the celebration dinner, Wendy would tell him that Charlie whispered something in her ear, causing her to immediately throw up. Who knows what that was. Now, also listening to him talk about these odd things that she was saying after Dan's death. And again, these are weird things to say, oh, it's going to be hard to catch the person and blah, 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 blah. As well as Jeff and other people have all said, Rob, the other estranged son who had testified essentially against them, nobody in the family had a curiosity as to who killed Dan. It was almost like, that's, Now my theory, my personal opinion is because they knew who killed Dan, right? They didn't care to know because they were the ones that did it.
So that's my list of things, and when I go through all that in my head, I come to the conclusion, as you said a minute ago, that she was at least aware this was going to happen, and I think probably involved in it.
But will she be charged? That's the ultimate question that so many of us have. Now, I've heard many theories out there. I've talked to many different people, some being in the legal world, some others not. Sofa speculation, that type thing. Some of the legal people seem to think if there was charges, she would have brought them. They would have been brought. And seeing the evidence that's been presented, unless there's a lot of stuff hiding, I can go down that rabbit hole of like, yeah, she's probably going to skate on this one. However, I also go down the rabbit hole of once they're done with her and her testifying, they might be charging her as well next, right? As well as Harvey. Now, Harvey seems to have the least amount of evidence pinpointing him, but with Wendy, there seems to be direct evidence. And you also have this Jeff guy who, this is strong testimony. Imagine this on the stand. Now, again, he'll be portrayed as the bitter ex, this, that, and the other. Some of this is very circumstantial, but then again, a lot of the evidence against Donna is circumstantial, although there is so much evidence of her writing, of her phone calls with Charlie, etc., etc. I haven't seen anything like that with Wendy, but time will tell.
Wendy plays the victim so well. To me, it looked like classic Wendy. Everybody else felt bad for her. I thought, holy crap, she did this. She plays the victim instantly. She's great at it.
I think she learned this from her mother. I mean, look at what Donna does, right? And they probably trained her, meaning Donna, Harvey, and Charlie, to play the victim. I think that is how Wendy learned to get what she wants. She plays the victim, the family comes in and they try and fix it. That's why Charlie and Donna talk about her like she's an invalid, like she can't do anything for herself. That's why you hear him say it was so weird. You know, Donna would travel back and forth to Tallahassee and Miami. Wendy couldn't travel alone by herself. She couldn't do this. She would emotionally melt down over basic stuff. You know, I think some of it was probably a natural reaction. It could be a natural reaction to, well, let's be honest, growing up with Donna, okay, I'm just saying. Versus where we see things now of, oh, I've learned over the years, if I do blank, mom, dad, Charlie, whoever, this makes them come in and start working. And the family is so entangled with each other, it's almost like they operate as one, like they can't get out of their own way.
And in the morning when she was here, it was a church ceremony in the morning, the party at night. And the morning one, she sobbed through the whole thing. And whenever anybody asked her, like, what's going on? She didn't say I'm sad. She said, I'm nervous, I'm anxious.
I mean, but again, she probably was, right? These are the little confessions that come out as well. I don't know what you call them, like micro confessions or whatever, like where you kind of tell on yourself. And I think that that's huge and prevalent. I think that Wendy knew what was going on, but she was also kept out of the dark on some key details. Whereas Donna was driving the ship and Charlie was there helping her. And then Wendy was just doing what Wendy does. Wendy, go do this at this time. Okay, cool. She doesn't know why she's doing it, but she does, if that makes sense.
Jeff, I'm having people stopping in my office saying, Jeff, is there any chance, I was just out the Adelsons in Miami, is there any chance they had something to do with this? That's the weirdest family, the vibe. You walk in the room and something's strange.
100%, brother. We're right there with you, okay? And clearly, after all the convictions that came down, they did have something to do with it, right? So here's my thing, and I'm curious to know what y'all think, what your opinions are on this, both legal and sofa speculation. Once his trial is up, do we think charges will be brought against Wendy? If so, could testimony like this put her behind bars, or are we not going to see anything from her? At minimum, Jeff has painted a picture of probably what life was like from an outsider in, being in the Adelson mix. I don't think anyone marrying into the situation was ever going to have a voice of any sort. And I think Dan came in and saw the toxicity and started calling it out, and he had to go. You already see how Jeff is doing, right? This is probably a glimpse into the thought processes that Dan had as well, where he was like, Wendy can, she can't walk and chew gum, and she's freaking out and flipping out and doing this, and her mom's over here making decisions for our kids, and all of the toxic traits that we've seen. And Jeff is describing another version of them, except Jeff, I believe, and I'm curious, again, this is a two-part question, I believe Jeff was going to be the fall guy and they were setting him up for that. So what do you think on that? Let me know down in the comment section below, and if you are still watching, I greatly appreciate you. And while you're in the comment section answering all that homework I left, if you could drop off some little sofas for myself, Roscoe and Spirit, Bo and Luke, and you, the Sofa Squad, who makes the sofa possible. I appreciate you, and I couldn't do it without you. And until we gather down there in the comment section to do all the stuff we've been talking about, I'll see y'all soon.
I just wanted to say thank you again for watching the whole video, and also thank you for being part of the Sofa Squad. Special thanks to all the Patreon members, channel members from both of my channels, everybody who likes, shares, subscribes, comments in the comment sections. It helps the channel out so much. Now, don't forget, I do have that other channel, the podcast channel. That's where we go live, we hang out, we talk. We have kind of sort of a schedule, but just be sure and check it out. I'll put it up here on the screen. And then, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you want to follow me and Ross on the Instagram, go on, check it out. It's right here on the screen again. But once again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being part of the Sofa Squad, and I'll see you in the next video.
Hey, welcome to the Sofa Squad, sipping from the cup that hey, come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.